Now that we're done with the categories part of our shopping cart, let's now move on to the product part of our shopping cart, or to the product section of our shopping cart, wherein the administrator can now add products. Okay, so let's go back to our categories. Now, as you notice, categories currently is empty, unlike what we have done before, wherein actually we have added some categories before. So let me just try to add some examples. So maybe we can add like uh, sardines, hot and spicy. Okay. I decide to click save. Okay, so I already have one. Then another one, let's try to add maybe beverage. Um sorry. So it's right here coca, cola, and so let's just try to put cola. The other one would be noodles. Maybe you can put here chili uh, flavor. Okay. So we have added already three categories. Now let's go to our products page. Now, as you've noticed, currently the products is empty and it still cannot interact with the database. When you say interact, by the way, we cannot still save the products into our database. Okay, so this time let's try to add our code. Okay, I've already opened my Notepad++, so let me just try to look for the products here. Now, previously we have already done some of the items here. Okay, so we already have done the products .php as well, but we still don't have process that products.php. Now, what we were able only to accomplish last time was just the UI, or just the user interface of our product. So this is actually the code of our products. Let's try to expand this a bit so that it will be clear for you guys. I think that will be much better. Okay. Now, we have here already button add products on that click function. So basically, this will be triggered every time we try to click our button products. Now, again, let's try to be lazy. What we can just do is we can just try to copy what is on our categories at PHP. Okay, not this category. Yeah, this category that PHP. Okay, so what we can do is we can just copy everything. Okay, maybe this part. Okay, this whole section, and let's just try to modify the code. Okay, let's try to paste it here. Let me just try to arrange the code. As you've noticed, I'm always trying to cut and paste, or just copy and paste the code. I would normally do this even in my actual live projects to save me time from coding it from scratch. Okay, so it actually will save me a lot of time. So now that we have already created or we have copied a JavaScript code into our products.php, let's now try to modify it. So the very first thing that we need to do is let's just try to go up here. Then let's try to copy this part. Okay, we have your category ID. Okay, then we have your product name. Okay, try to comment this section. So that's product name. Then you have your price. Go back here again. Let's try to copy. Okay, paste. After price, we have your color. Okay. We still haven't modified the variable name yet. What we do is, what we're currently doing is we're just trying to get the values of our forms. Okay, so we have their color, then we have their dimensions. Okay. Then last, okay, description. Okay, that's dimensions. Then last we have our description. Okay, where's description? Okay, so we have here our description. Next thing that we need to do, okay, this I actually opened my categories at PHP again, is to get a something. Okay, try to get the hidden field. Okay, I'm going to copy this one again. So this is actually located on line 54 if you've been following our tutorial, and exactly we're off the same line. Otherwise, try to look for a hidden field with the ID. Okay, so I'm going to copy this part, then try to put it here on top as well. Okay, so I'm going to call this one. Okay, we can just have this one text.id. Then we have their ID. So what will happen is that we will be using this hidden field to store the values of our ID. So it would still currently have no value whatsoever. So we can just actually delete it, or we can just we can just delete this part first. We will be going back to it later. So now let's try to rename our variable names. Okay, so we have here text category ID. Then we also have here text product name, text price, text color, we added here text dimensions. Then of course last you have test, test description. Now, one of the things that you've noticed is that I didn't change this part. Now, why didn't I change this part? Because the form still actually exists. Okay, although it doesn't have any values, but it actually exists. Now, the next thing that we are going to do is we can now specify which form is required and which form are not required, or which of the following forms are not required. So I'm going to open to my form. Okay, so you have here categories. Notice, by the way, that we have here category has an asterisk. So we'll also be doing that for our products. Okay, so we'll have this one category and product as our we'll have this one category, product, price, and quantity as our required fields. So, okay, so to go back here. So we have here category. This one will be set as required. Also our product. This one is also required. Of course, price. Then last we have our quantity. We can actually sell something without knowing the dimension or the color. But we cannot sell something if we don't know the price or the quantity. Okay. Next is, okay, let's try this time to add the code here. So we have here, so these are all actually required fields. Okay, so let's try to put it here. Next, try to click on, let's try to create another else if. Here we have your text product name. Okay. Else if. Price, of course. Okay, so to copy this section. Okay, what was it? Price. Text price. We set it to focus. Next is, okay, after text price, we have here. So we already have our product name. We have category, product name, price, and okay, we actually forgot to specify our quantity. Okay, so quantity is just above description. Dimensions. Okay, we need to add our quantity here. it's between, okay, text quantity. Okay, so these are all the required fields. Okay, so to go back to our page. Okay, okay, it doesn't trigger yet. Let's try to check what's the error. Going to right click here, then inspect. Okay, so we have here a error. Load the page again. Console. Got keyword else. 107. Okay. So this one. No. Okay. Let's try to. Okay. Let's try this one. This time. Okay. Now let's try to go back here. Doesn't have any errors anymore. Like, fields marked with asterisk are required fields. Okay. Now, let's first add values to our categories. So notice, by the way, every time I click new category, we will be redirected to this page. So we should be able to display also the same categories here onto our Dropbox. Okay, so let's go back to our code. What do we need to do next? Okay, let's try to create an SQL statement. You can just have it here. Okay. SQL category. Okay. Select all from, okay, what's the name? Go back here. We have here categories. Categories. Okay. Again, just copy this part. Okay. We don't need, by the way, to do it all over again. We can just copy. So it will be easier for us. So it's SQL category. Okay. So basically what we need to do, okay, let's try to expand it again. Okay. Okay. Then going back here into our categories page, we can just close. Okay, then of course that's it. Okay, now for our output, okay, echo get category. Since basically it's an array, okay, it should be getting something like this. So I'm going to copy. The first thing that I need to do, okay, is get the ID. The next is echo get the description. Okay, let's try to see if it's going to work. So reload the page. Okay, if it's going to show something like that, then there's an error. Okay, I'm going to write. Okay, I'm going to open this. I'm going to view source this time. I'm going to right click here, then view page source. Now, so we have here undefined variable con. So we have not included con. Okay. So the thing that we need to do next is we need to add this section on the topmost part of our page. So I actually open again categories at PHP, then highlight, copy and paste, then just try to okay, this only part we can just try to include admin at header.php. Okay, do something like that. Okay, then save. Okay, I'm going to go back here to my page again, my browser. Okay, so we already have it here. Sardines, beverages, noodles. Reload the page. Okay, we have here sardines, beverages, and noodles. Let's try this time to display. Okay. Categories. order by, maybe we can set it to category ascending. Okay, come back here. So it's ascending. Okay. Okay, we can also go back here. It's site to check. I'm going to go back to my categories. Order by category ascending. Okay, so beer, beverage, noodles, sardines. So it should be also on this particular order. So I'm going to click products, beverage, noodles, ID, sardines. Okay. Now that we have already added our category in our category, let's now try to create another file under our admin. Right click here, or I'm going to click. No, I'm going to need to right click. I'm going to click File, then Save As. So we have here process that product.php. Okay, so I created another file called process.product.php. So going back to my I actually renamed this one. Okay, so I just need to delete everything first. Okay. So I deleted everything, but I created another file called process.product.php. So, but I renamed it. I renamed categories.php by mistake. So what I basically did was just try to delete everything. Okay. So I now have the following files: admin.footer, admin.header, categories, dashboard, index, navigation, process.category, process.login, process.logout, process.product, and products. Okay. So the next thing that we need to do is we are going to create this time. Okay, let me just try to close. Okay, let me just try to open. Okay, so the next thing that I need to do, or we need to do, is we need to create this time our SQL statement, so that every time we try to click here, we are going to interact with our database, or we're going to store or save the data into our database or into our table. Okay, let's try to go first to our categories. Try to go down. Now we need to add certain values. So products. Okay, so instead of, we have here $post process.category. So instead of category, we can change it to product. So why product? Because again, this file will be used to process the information and store it on our database. Next thing that we need to do is we are going to create certain variables. So category ID, then we have here product name, price. We can just do the other part later. Price, color, dimensions. Let's have it like that. Dimension, description. Then last you have quantity. Okay, so to open this first. Quantity. Okay, we have their quantity. For our quantity, we'll try to do something a little bit more complicated than the usual, but it's not going to be that complicated. It's going to hard to learn. Okay, so I'm going to change this one, text category ID. Then we have here text product name, text price, text color, text dimensions. Okay, quantity. And then of course we have description. Okay, then we have our text ID. Okay, so these are all of the information that will be passed from products.php to process.products or process.product.php. Okay. Now, let's try to open category process.category.php. Again, we can just actually just copy everything. I'm going to copy. Okay, then try to paste it here. Okay, so we won't be actually we won't be doing everything from scratch. Again, what we can basically do is you can just try to modify everything. So the first thing that we need to do is we can modify this, the delete part. Okay, then we'll just check it later if it's working or not. So we have here delete from categories. So instead of categories, okay, we have here products. Okay, we can just change it to products. A lot faster. Okay. Then we have here also SQL check, insert into products. Okay. Now, I'm going to open here products. Okay, columns. Okay, so the first thing that we do is we need to insert. You have your, I'm just going to put this one at the bottom. Category. Okay. Category ID. Color. Description. Dimensions. Class update. Price. Product name, and last we have quantity. Okay. So how many columns we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Okay, we also try to add 8 question marks. 2, 3, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So you have it here. 1, 2, 3. We don't need, by the way, last update. We can just delete the section. We have here category ID will be integer, color, description, and dimensions. Price. Okay, let me just try to check price. Okay, maybe you can have it also as double, have it D, if it's possible to use D, or float maybe. Float, then string, then I. Okay, so this is for our category ID, color, description, color, description, dimensions, price, product name, and quantity. Okay. Then, of course, you also need to specify other values here. Okay. So this will serve as our category ID. We are actually just binding the parameters. Then, color. After color, we have dimensions. Okay, then price. Copy again. Then we have product name. Copy again. Then last, we have quantity. Okay, for our first thing that we need to do for our category ID, okay, for our category ID, and for color, this is for our dimension, price, product name, then last, of course, we have our quantity. Okay, so that's it. Okay, let's try this time. Okay, so this will actually be the part where we insert our products. Now this time, let's try to check first before we can continue with the update part. So to go back here, then shopping cart. Okay, so this will be beverages. Product is Coca-Cola. Price is try to put it at 12.50. Color, okay, we don't need color. Dimension also need quantities. Then make it 10. Then save product details. Okay, so it's being redirected to our categories. So how come it's being redirected to our categories? Okay, so to go back to our products because of this code. Let's try to check products at PHP. Okay, back here products again. Okay, so to open our PHP admin. So to check browse. Not users but products. Okay, so it didn't actually insert. Okay, we'll try to insert it. We'll try to check it later. How come it didn't successfully insert? Okay, so to beverage again. Coca-Cola price 12.50, color 12. Then okay, now let's try to debug. Okay, try to comment it first. Okay, beverage product Coca-Cola 12.50, color, dimension, quantity 12. Okay. Okay, it's not doing anything. So I have to go to network. Okay, actually went to network. Then we have here post, process that product.php. Cookies, request, your response. Now we have here, I actually, how was I able to do this one? Okay, so what I basically do is I right click here, then inspect. After clicking inspect, we have here network. Okay, now let's try this time again to click product details. Okay, as you've noticed, we have here status 200, method post, we have here domain, and we have file. This will be the processing file. Okay, so I'm going to click this line using my Firefox browser, by the way. Then I will be having here, I'm going to check it here, we have here headers. So if we're to go to headers, these are all the information of our headers. Then we have here cookies, request. So when we talk about request, these are all of the information that is being posted from one page to another. In this case, from products to product.php. Then this is the response. Okay, uncaught argument count error. The number of elements in the type definition string must match the number of bind variables. Okay, so there's an error. So the number of elements does not match the number of binded variables. Okay, let's try to check this time our code. Going back here to process product. So we have here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so it's actually correct. Next is we have here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's only 6. So there should be 7. So let's try to check. We have here category, color. Okay, so we missed description. Okay, let's try this time to add description. Okay. Same also with this part. So we have here color. Okay. Try to copy and paste. Then we have here uh, description. Okay. Okay, let's try to go back to our browser again. Let's try to reload the page. Beverage, we have here Coca-Cola. Okay, for price, make it $12.50. Color, dimension, everything is just 12. That's 12.50. Okay, then save product details. So you have here 200. Okay, check again. Okay, so you have here uncaught value error statement. Type must only contain B, D, I, and S. Okay, so let's try to check. B, D, I, and so you added decimal. Okay, we have here double. Okay, I added F for float. So instead of F, we should be using double. Okay, so B and D. Okay, let's try this time again to reload the page. Okay, again, type Coca-Cola. Okay, price is $12.50. The quantity is making 100. Okay, save product details. Okay, need to click this part. Undefined array dimensions. Okay, so we were able to narrow down the error, some of the biggest error, which is the data types. Okay, so we have here undefined array key dimensions. So let's try to check this time again. 43. So what file is that? So we have process.product.php. Line 43. We have here dimensions. Okay, this one is actually generated if we have a mistake onto our form. Okay, so as you've noticed, we have here dimension only, whereas this one we call it dimensions. Okay, let's try to change it to dimension. Make it here also, going back here. So you have letter S. Okay, let's try to make everything uniform. Okay, to call this one dimensions. Also for our products, .php, I'm also going to call this one as dimensions with letter S. Okay, then let's try to reload the whole page again. Okay, beverages Coca-Cola. Okay, so we have here 100. No, it's too much. Make it maybe 20 pesos. Okay. Okay, color, dimension. Okay, for quantity, make it maybe 12. Okay, then set to click save product. Okay. Set to check if there's still an error. So we have here process product.php, double click. Okay. So again, we have here an error. Undefined array key description. Okay. 42 and 43. So description. Okay. Let me put it S. Description. Go back here first. So we have here description without S and dimensions with S. So dimension should be the one with letter S, not description. So dimensions. Okay. Let's try it out again. Save product. Okay. Let's try to reload the page. Save products. Going back here. Okay. Now, as you've noticed, there's no more error response. Okay. Let's try to go back to our PHP admin and try to click browse. So we already have added our new item. Now, let's try to add another one. So we have here, let's try to call it beverage. Maybe have it as Sprite. Okay. So for Sprite, maybe, or maybe we'll call this one, not beverage, but do sardines. So we have their Ligo. So try to have this one 35.50. Quantity, let's make it 24. Then save product. Okay. Going back here to our PHP admin again. Click browse. So we have here price 36. So shopping cart. So it should be 35. Okay. Now let's try to look for something which will also actually add um, decimal places uh, to our price, because we don't want being automatically being converted to um, in numeric value. Okay. Okay. Let's try to change it first. This is the whole code. Okay, so let's first try to check the whole code. So we have here, this is the SQL statement. We selected ID, then category ID, color, description, dimensions, price, product name, quantity. Then we tried to we prepared it. We have our link identifier. Then we have our SQL. Okay. Then product check ID. Okay. ID. Get ID. Okay, so why do we need to get, we need to bind the parameters. Sorry, let me just try to check it here first. Okay, so there's some parts that we no longer need to include. So for this one, okay, so this is actually for the update part, sorry. So so we need to get the value of I, which is this part, then ID. Then we need to bind the results. Okay. Then assign the results on our variables which we have initialized here. Okay, so this is just a simple explanation of our SQL statement. Now this time, let's try to output it into our product, onto our form. Okay, so we have here value. Text product name. Okay, let's try to check first if it's working. I'm going to go back here, reload the whole page. Okay, let's try to update Coca-Cola. I'm going to click update. Okay, so we have already there Coca-Cola. Okay, so if we want to update Ligo, it also becomes Ligo. Now let's try to finish everything up. Okay, so this is text price. Okay, also need to specify the color, text color. Then we have their quantity. Then we have description. Okay, so it seems okay. We have forgotten dimensions. Okay, let's try to add also dimensions. Okay. So this time we are going to add values into our ID. Okay, so echo text ID. Okay, set to check if it has a value. Okay, just change it from hidden to text. Okay, try to reload. Okay, so we have 3. Okay, we should also have here 3. Now let's try to revert it back again to hidden. Okay. So let's try to let's also try this time to change the alignment of our text from by default, which is left, to make it, let's try to make it right aligned, since again we're dealing with numeric values. So usually when we talk about numeric values, as what I've said, just like on our table here, it should be right aligned. Okay, so that's for text quantity, ID, class, form control, rounded. Let's try to add this value, text end. Okay. By the way, I'm still using text end. these are all native to Bootstrap. So no custom CSS have been added. Okay, we need to reload. Okay, so we have there. Okay, so it's not, okay, sorry. It's not supposed to be dimension. It's supposed to be price. Okay, need to reload. Okay, that's it. Now, let's also try to change. Let's also try to add another button here. Okay, so ito call an ahref. It's going to call this one products.php plus button default. Okay, button block, new product. Okay, let's try to see if it's going to work. So basically this is what we added. Go back here. Okay, so okay, it's not working. Okay, we'll try to do something else. Let's try to do this one. Okay, instead of using let's use button. Okay. Go the page. Okay, so let's try to open our reference. Okay, let's try to open Bootstrap. Let's first use Google. Okay, this is Bootstrap 5. That's the version that we're currently using. So again, it's okay if you wanted to use the internet for your reference. Because I do believe that there's no such thing as a programmer who memorizes everything. Okay, so let's try to search for it. Buttons. Okay, so info light. Okay. Okay, we have here button secondary. Okay, so to go revert it back. Button secondary. Okay, so to reload the page. Okay, so we have it here already. Form group. Okay. Okay, what we need to do, since basically this is 12, let's try to add another column. Again, so we have two. We have already a couple of columns. We need to reload. Okay, so that's it. So try to add new product. Okay, so then you can just delete the rest. Okay, so basically what I did was this one. I added two columns, a couple of columns. We have your form group. Then the first one, wait, let me just also delete this part. Same also with this one. Okay, so I added a new button here. I added a link. Then we have here add new products or add new product. Then save product details. Another one is this one is also on another column. Let's try to reload. Okay, so that's it. So we already have it there. We can make it one, then one also. Didn't work. It's okay if we make it two. Okay. Or what we can basically do is this one. Try to need to change the location. Okay. 6. So this one is 6. Back here. Okay. So here we save products, and let's try to add new products in here. So for this one, we're going to use it in text and okay, much better. So what we did was basically just try to add links here, save products, and we add new products. But since we added a couple of columns with length of 6, so the first one is by default it's left aligned, so that's why we didn't add any properties such as text start or text center. But for the second column, we added text end, which is we changed the alignment of the text to right aligned. That's why we added here text end. Okay, so let's also try to add ahref. This is products dot php. Okay, to reload. Okay, you can click here. Okay, so that's it. So okay, let's try to delete this part. Let's try to update. Okay, so for color, okay, okay, maybe we can change it from color to color and dimension. Okay, let's try to add also color slash flavor. Okay. Okay, so maybe we can have, like, for example, 645. Say to add color flavor. Let's say hot and spicy. Okay. 2 by 2 by 3. Description none. Okay, let's try to click save products. Okay, so that was actually I think it was Maggie update. Okay, so as you've noticed, there seems to be an error on our work. Okay, why is that? Okay, now we'll try this time to work on our update. So to go back here at the bottom first. So we have our text ID. Okay, so for our text ID, okay, as you've noticed, I've accidentally deleted text ID. So let me just try to add it again. Let me just try to go to categories. Okay, this is the hidden part. Okay. Go back here again. Okay, so Maggie hot and spicy 2 by 3 by 4. Then save product details. Okay, so it's no longer added. Okay, update. Okay, for this one, let's try to check this one. It's 2 by 3 by. Okay, hot and spicy none. Save products. This one again. Okay, let's try to check. Where did we made the mistake? Update. This is 6 actually. So requests. Okay, headers. Okay, let's try to disable our redirection this time. Okay, so we have our text ID. Text ID. Okay, it's time to check if it's working. I'm going to change it again back to text. Okay, so we have there 6. Okay, well, we'll do some debugging this time. Okay, we'll also try to comment this part. Okay, so this is where we actually made some mistake. This is actually where we made some mistake. Sorry, actually, not a numeric value, but a whole number. Okay. So we have here price. So every time we try to insert, like the previous insertion was for Ligo Sardines, wherein we inserted 35.5, which it was actually rounded up to 36. Now, where did this particular error came from? Okay, so let's try this time to edit. Okay, if we can still edit. So, if not, then we can just actually drop the table. Okay. Browse. Okay, so to select structure. Then we have here, let's go to back to our price. Okay. Now, notice by the way for price, you have your maximum length is 10, comma 0. Okay, so to change this bit. Okay, so maybe we can try to put 2. Okay, so to click save. Okay, so we have here 10-2. Okay, so let's to go back here again to our shopping cart web UI, reload the page. Okay, 35.5 color. Okay, you can actually leave everything blank. So to click save product details. Okay, go back to our PHP admin. Under table products, decide to click browse. Okay, so that was actually it was actually a database error. So notice by the way that we have already inserted 35.5. Okay, so we can now continue working on to our on the rest of our products, process.product.php. So this time what we need to do is we need to show the products here at the bottom, much like what we did with our categories. Okay, let's try to go back here. Okay, products. So to open categories. Okay, so you have here, can just copy this section, or okay, so to go back here first. Okay, you have your column 10. Okay, categories. Again, you can just copy and paste this part, the whole table part. Okay, copy, then paste. Okay, so select all from categories. So instead of categories, what we can do is we can select all from products, where order by product name, ascending. Okay, so dollar, select all. Okay, I can just try to expand it for you guys. So this is the code. Then let's just try to change some variables. Okay, so products. We also have it here, products. Then products as well. Get category. Instead of category, let's say to get products. So get category ID. Okay. Get products ID. Get products ID. Okay. Now instead of category, we'll call this one as product. Okay. Then this one products as well. Okay. Now for this part, okay, let's try to edit this first. We have here product name. Okay, we also need to specify our price. Okay, we have here price. For our price, maybe we can have it at 10, 20 maybe. Then for our, this is our quantity. You can have it at the last part. Okay, so we have your price and quantity. So we have here product name, description, then we have price, and of course we have our quantity. Okay, so to check how it will look into our browser. Okay, we reload the page. So this is it. We have plenty of error. Okay, trying to access an offset value of, okay, products 9108. Okay, so get category. Okay, so we have here to get category. So instead of get products, we wrote get category. So we need to change this part also. Okay, reload the page. So we have here Coca-Cola, Ligo, and Ligo. Okay, uh, these are all our products. Okay, so let's also try this time. Okay, now we'll try to do something for our SQL statement. Okay, so select all from products. Okay, PR. Okay, let's try to call this one as PR. PR. Okay, order by PR.product name. Okay, we'll try to use join if it's possible. Join category. What's the name of the category? Okay, is it categories? Okay, categories. Categories. CA. Join CA dot ID is equals to PR dot category ID. Okay, need to move this first. Actually that's okay. So we select all from PR. Okay, then last you also have CA dot category. Okay, go back here, so to reload the page. Okay, result must be type result boolean given. Okay, line 104. Line 104, this one. Very products. Okay, now this is where I'm going to copy this first. Now, let's try to use this time let's try to use phpshoppingadmin to debug our SQL statements. I'm going to open my SQL, my phpshoppingadmin. Then we have here under SQL tab. Okay, I'm going to click. Okay, let's try to run the SQL code that we have just written. Just a join CA on. Okay. CA on. Okay. So click go. Okay. So this is already okay. Wait, let's try to copy the code. Edit. You can actually click edit. Okay, so to click go. Okay, so we also displayed the category. So to click edit. I'm going to copy this part. Back here. Okay. Okay, so this is already okay. Now let's, instead of description, we'll call this one as category, or yeah, categories. But in reality, it's actually called product line, but we'll just have to call it categories. Okay, so we have their category. Then we have their site to change this one to category. Okay, go back here to our page, open again shopping cart, then try to reload. So we have here already product name categories. Then we have price and quantity. Okay, let's try to modify this further. Okay, so instead of categories, okay, we can make this one maybe 50. So 50, then 50, 65. Okay, so we have here 50 plus, okay, so to use a calculator. To click run, calc. So what am I adding? So this is supposed to be 100%. So we have 15 plus 50 plus 25. Okay, so we have here 90, so we don't want that. Try to make this one a little bit small. We have there 15 plus 25 plus 1555. Maybe we can make this one into okay, 15 plus 30 plus 25. Okay, 70. So to be a little bit smaller. Make this one. We have 35, 20, 60. This is 60. Okay, 60, 15. We can have this one as 25. We can go back here to our page. Okay, so that's a lot better. So we have your product name, categories, price, and you have their quantity. But supposedly for quantity, let's try to do some arranging this time. So for quantity, let's try to, for the numeric values, let's try to arrange it to, let's try to have it aligned on the right-hand side. We also try to change this part. Okay, so instead of total categories, we have your total product inventory. Okay. Then, align right. Or we can do class text and yeah, that's it. Then we also have here class text and quantity also. Okay, so that's it. So for price, that's it. For quantity, maybe we can make it a little bit smaller because it's somewhat a little, it's quite big. So we can make it 15, 15, so 40. Then we can also add it here. So maybe we can make this one as 35. Let's try to recompute. 15 plus 35 plus 20 plus 15 plus 15. Okay, that's 100%. Then go back here again and reload the page. Okay, that's better. Okay, so we already have the following. We already added product name. Okay, so added two sardines. Now let's try this time to click. Let's try this time for the delete part. Now, for the delete, we have the process. Okay, let's try to click delete. Okay. It's actually deleting, but the redirection is not correct. So let's try to open our process product. For the delete, maybe we can change it to products.php. Okay, let's try to go reload again the page. Okay. Noodles, maybe we can add Maggi. Okay. Price, it's going to be 12.50. No. It's 6.75. Okay, quantity, maybe 100. Description, okay. Save product details. Okay, so it's not yet reloading, but if you're to reload it manually, it will be shown. Okay, so how do we reload it automatically? Okay, let's go back to our code, products. Then what we can do is you can just uncomment this section. Okay, let's try to go back here. Okay, try to add another category. So another category that we can do, so you already have beverages, noodles, sardines. Maybe we can add biscuits. Let's save. Okay, so let's click products. For biscuits, maybe we can make it Oreo. Price is 25.75. Quantity 100 again. Save product details. Okay, I'm going to click. Okay, so already here, Oreo. So we have already successfully created our add, then delete. Okay, then let's try to go to our update. Now for update, okay, I'm going to open again my categories. Then what I can basically do is just try to copy this section again. Okay, then paste it here on top. Just right below my connection or connected PHP. Okay, let me just try to copy everything first. Notice by the way that I initialize everything here. So we'll also be doing it with our products. Okay, so let me just try to open my PHP admin because I'll be using it here. Okay, so we have their category, we have your category ID, okay, category, then you have their color, dimensions. Oh, this one should be text category ID, dimensions. We have ID. This is price. Then product name. Then quantity. Okay. Let's try to add this time. Okay, call this one select Crud. SQL. Project. Okay. Either cut check. Okay, we call this one as project. Project. And their ID. Okay. So first thing that we need to do is we need to get category. Okay, let's try to do this one here on top first. So their category underscore ID, color, then okay, we have description, dimensions, price, product name, and quantity. From products, right? Okay. The next is, okay, so once everything's been divided, okay, let's decide this time to add this part category, color. Okay, description. Again, guys, what I'm doing by the way is just copy pasting. Okay, lessens the time of actually trying to type it manually. Price, we need to copy. Then product name. Then last we have quantity. Okay. So these are all the results already. Everything, all the results have been binded. Now this time what we need to do is we need to get it from here. Text ID. Okay, this is text category. Text color. We have this, yeah, we have description also. So let's try to add description. Okay, we need to add here another description, then price, product name, then we have there quantity. Okay, try to add also this part. Okay, so we have their ID, so category ID, color. Okay, description is already there. Okay, we also need to add dimensions. Dimensions, this one. We have their price, product name, then last we have quantity. Okay, so we'll try this one out if it's working. Select all for select ID with category for products. Okay, let's try this one out. Okay. Okay, let me open again my R code. So for process.products.php. Okay, so if this is actually if empty, post ID is empty, okay, so you have there, this one will be processed. Otherwise, update will be processed. Okay, so we have update, products. Okay, set category, set ID, color, description, dimensions, price, product name, then you have last quantity. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You have 7 columns that we need to edit. Then next is we can just actually copy this part. Okay, so that at least you don't have to type everything from the ground up. Okay. Then okay, so we have here SQL check con. Okay, for our parameters, limit of parameters, what we can do is again, okay, we can just copy this part. Okay, for this is actually for the bind param part. Okay, let's just try to copy. Let's go bind param. Okay, we can just copy. Okay, so that's it. So statement check, SQL check. Okay, so we have their bind param. Then once everything is okay, we can actually execute the statement. Okay, so to go back here and decide to check. Description none, 2 by 3 by 4. Okay, then see product details. Okay, just try to check here first. Okay, so you have here status 200, request 2 by 5. Okay, response. Okay, we have here an error. A number of variables must match. Okay, again, so we have here quantity, then comma, then you have your ID. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. double string 1 2 3 4 7 8 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. Okay, then last we have I as well. Okay, and let's try to check, try to reload the page. Okay, for save. Okay, go back here again. Okay, as you've noticed, there's no more error. Okay, response. Okay, then have a no response data available for this request. Let's try to go back to our PHP admin. Okay, let's try to go to structure. Oh no, let's try to go to browse. Then we have here it's already hot and spicy 2 by 4, 2 by 2 by 4. Okay. 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 So to go back to our code again. Products. Okay. Let me just uncomment this part. Then where is it? Okay, this one also. So let's try to change it back to text. Okay, this is the whole code already. So your text ID, text category ID, text color, text dimension, text description, price, product name, quantity. Then we also need to in order to get the update, we need to select all of the columns. So I actually didn't use asterisk to fetch all of the columns. What I basically did here was just try to get the column names individually. Then I prepared my statement by using connection con comma SQL prod, meaning we have this one actually is our link identifier. Then we have our SQL prod, which is referred to our SQL statement. Then for product check, we also specified our I, which will limit only to integer. Okay. Then we need to execute product check, which is this part. Then eventually we'll be binding our results. Okay, this is where we're also binded our results. Try to assign it to a variable. Then eventually try to output it here. Okay, onto our forms. For the category part also, I added this one. Select all from categories, order by category, ascending. Okay. So this is the whole code for our categories in order for us to display the categories. Now, if we were to click add new category, we'll be redirected back to our category page. Okay. So if we were to look at our web page, okay, let me just try to reload. It will already look something like this. Okay, add new products. Okay, so it's already done. Next is, of course, we need to output everything. Then okay, so this is the part where we try to display what are the items or what are the products that have been entered. So you have select pr dot asterisk ca dot category. So this actually means that we're trying to display the value, all of the rows or all of the columns into our product category. Now I use pr here to give an alias into my products table. At the same time also, I use CA here to give another alias for my categories table. That's why I use PR and CA. So this is actually a simple joins query in order for us to display the name of the category. That's why if we were to look at our output here, we can see the different categories. So this is also a way for us to get the values. Okay, so we have here get products and your product name category. Then of course you have price and quantity. Now this part, on this part, we basically did get the values based on the ID since it's preceded by a hashtag. So category ID is referred to this form, this one, category. So product, we also have here product name. which is also referred to this one. Okay, so that's how we would initialize or get the value of our form. Okay, then we also tried to create another variable, another set of variables that will be used to send data to our process.product.php. Okay, so the first thing that we need to do here is we need to check. So I've added the following required fields: category ID, product name, price, and quantity. Then I also specified the name of the processing file, which is process.product.php. Notice also that we have here post. Okay, so because we wanted to get, we will be using post. Okay, then if the status is success, then we will be redirected back to our page. That's what products.php will do. So this one is almost already done. Now, in order for us to update, by the way, okay, let's try to do a little bit of updating regarding our inventory. So we have here currently this part. So we have here 12, 24, 100, and 100. Okay. So okay, we can just actually leave it as is. Okay, so I was thinking actually of adding another functionalities, but since it can be a little bit complicated for you guys, so I'm just not going to push with it anymore. So this is already done. Our products page is already done. So let's go to members this time. Now, by the way, we still haven't done our members page. Okay, so let's try to create another file. Okay, right click here, file, then new. Okay, so to call this one as okay, we need to click file, FA, save as members.php. Okay, then try to reload the page. Okay, but okay, I'm just going to go back here. I'm just going to have it here. Leave it here for the meantime. But before I forget, let's try to add another functionality for our products, which will be discussed on the next video. Okay, we're going to add here a button to create a upload image for our products, because it will be useless that we may have an item, or we have a bunch of items, but we cannot update, or we don't have an image for these particular items. Okay, so right now our products is already done, or products page is already done.